All right, welcome into another edition of Skers Scoop. Today, we're just going to be giving a little bit of an update here on four-star defensive back Jailen Hill, who was originally expected to be coming on an official visit to Nebraska over the June 5th weekend, joined by four-star cornerback Bryce Williams as well. But we got a little bit of an update. Tim Vergeese broke the news that Jailen Hill did not make it to Lincoln this past weekend, and he's since rescheduled his official visit for the weekend of June 12th. So he'll be expected to be on campus on Friday here this week. So we're just going to run you through a little bit of an update, who he is, and obviously why he's a big part of what could be Nebraska's 2027 class. So I'm going to hand it off to you, Elliot, and I'll let you give a little bit of the details and other schools that are kind of in the mix here that Nebraska's battling down the stretch.
Yeah, so Nebraska's been in this recruitment for a little about over a year now at this point. And they've been consistent in this recruitment. With Jailen Hill, he's had different schools that have been the leader. Notre Dame being one, Indiana being another one, even USC, I think at times. They were leaders in this recruitment, but the consistent player I think throughout has been Nebraska, and I think that's why Nebraska recently has received predictions for Jailen Hill, and also why we were super confident that Jailen Hill was gonna his commitment date was originally supposed to be tomorrow, June 9th, but obviously you can see in the graphic on the screen that it's got moved to June 16th, and so that's the graphic that Jailen Hill posted himself. And so it's a bit, I think right now it's Washington and USC are the other two schools that are Nebraska's going up against, and I'm not really too concerned. I think we talked before, USC was supposed to get an OV from him this this weekend, or like this coming weekend, like the June 12th weekend, but obviously he's gonna switch that OV for Nebraska since he was not able to make it in this weekend because of flight issues or whatever it was. So it's a little bit disappointing just because we were hoping we could get some even more good news this week with another blue chip prospect committing to the Huskers. But it's never too late to join the class at this point in June. So as long as he makes it in for the visit this weekend and then he commits to us on his commitment date, I'm fine with that. I'll let you give your thoughts on it as well.
Yeah, I mean, obviously it's a big potential addition, and he's heavily favored to land at Nebraska. And it wouldn't be a small recruiting win with USC and Washington that are kind of in the mix there. And like you said, Notre Dame was flirting around. Indiana, he's got offers from plenty of big time schools. So what I would be curious to ask you is for three-star cornerback, or at least defensive back Kamari Whitfield is supposed to be on an official visit here to Nebraska on June 12th. I'd be curious to get your take on how that may change what Nebraska pitches to either recruit this weekend, knowing that Whitfield, I do believe, was the only defensive back that was expected to be here on the weekend of June 12th.
Right. Yeah.
Actually, I do want to take that back. I just did
there's others.
James Johnson, who I think just committed to Cincinnati, was supposed to be here, and then
there was one more.
Something Drummond. I can't remember.
Yeah.
So anyway, there's going to be a little bit of a competition here, a little bit more competition. Hill would still be the highest ranked defensive back that's expected to be here this weekend. And, that June 5th weekend was the bigger recruiting weekend overall. They had 15. I think they're only expected to maybe have 6 kids on official visits this upcoming weekend here. So it's going to be significantly more quiet following this weekend. But, I mean, there's some big-time targets in there like Kyler Kuhn, and who's a 4-star interior offensive lineman. And Jailen Hill will be right there at the top of the list now too. So, it's in my opinion, I think he's still going to end up at Nebraska. I don't think either one of us would disagree with that. But I don't know. I mean, do you think it affects anything knowing that now there's quite a bit more defensive backs that are going to be on official visits with him this weekend?
I don't think I'm too worried. The Drummond name that you were talking about, I think he's a safety. And then Kamari Whitfield, he's a lot smaller, 5'10", 185, just height-wise he's smaller than Jailen Hill. So I think, Kamari Whitfield would probably be more of a nickel guy or, slot guy that's
Sure.
not probably a boundary corner, and maybe he could be, but I think I for a while I thought Nebraska's class this year was going to be probably 15 to 20, and I think they'll be pushing 20 to 25 probably when it's all said and done. Just because they have such a large junior and sophomore, I think it's junior and sophomore class. Just those are the years that they took almost 40 guys in those recruiting classes, and so they just have such huge sizes in those classes on campus right now. It's kind of hard to just take a normal 20 to 25 size recruiting class, especially with the roster limits now. But
Sure.
We'll see if the staff does a little shuffling too, to make some room for guys in this class, to build on the momentum that they do have in the 27 class. But yeah, I don't really think I'm not really worried. I think they're all kind of in different spots that the staff wants them on defense, and so
Sure.
I feel like all those guys could be takes. Obviously there's another defensive back, Kennedy Green, that's coming in the last weekend in June, and I still feel pretty confident about that one. And so, we'll see. There's potential. They already have 3 commits, and maybe they add 3 more to the defensive back room, which would, be one of the best in the country, like we've talked about before. So,
Even more so.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess that's really all we wanted to cover. We just kind of wanted to give you guys an update. We saw, like I said, Tim Verghese broke the news about this, and kind of took a lot of people by surprise, I would say. So just wanted to get a little bit of update because obviously he's, one of the top remaining priority targets that Nebraska has in the class as far as, national ranking, and then also, just positional impact as well. He's a really high upside player. So we appreciate you guys tuning into this one. Later this week, we'll drop a video kind of detailing the full list of the June 12th visitor, official visit list. So right now it's kind of small. Obviously, there can be a lot of changes. Even just over the past 24 hours or so, we learned that Nebraska is no longer going to get an official visit from a 4-star wide receiver in Khalil Taylor. So things change, seemingly by the hour here. So we'll try and keep you guys updated, as we hear the news. But we appreciate you guys turning into this one. Like, subscribe, and leave a comment. We will do our best to get back to you guys on anything that you reply to us. So we appreciate you guys tuning in. Thank you.